Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this postcard greeting card using the Postcards for Santa A5 clear set from Creative Expressions. There are 18 stamps in this set, the largest of which being the actual postcard, which measures approximately 14 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres, so it is a fairly large stamp. Creative Expressions have really thought about these stamps. The large postcard is solid, which means that when you put it on your acrylic block and stamp it, it comes out straight first time. Some stamps are not solid in the centre, and it can be a bit of a faff trying to get them straight. It's worth mentioning that I use the large DL acrylic block from Woodware to stamp this postcard, and it was absolutely perfect for the job. The postcard didn't stamp exactly straight, nor where I wanted it to, and there was a bit of a bigger border than I'd hoped. So I went in and trimmed it down so that it sat straight and that there was only a border of around 1 mil to 2 mils around each side. Now, it didn't stamp perfect, and I could have gone back in and stamped over it again, but actually that would have been a bit tricky, and I quite liked the look that it gave. It gave it an authentic look and quite a rustic feel, and I liked it. It was now time to stamp the address. For this, I used my VersaFine Clair in Morning Mist to make it look different from the rest of the postcard. This is a really sweet address. It reads, "For Santa C, North Pole, Planet Earth, Milky Way Galaxy," which is just so sweet. Next, I stamped the largest of the postage stamps, which reads, "North Pole Airmail Express Service." I did this in my Memento Tuxedo Black as I needed it to dry quick. I clean my stamps as I go using a damp car chamois cloth. These are kept damp in a sealed airtight container. I stamped the next of the postage marks. This one reads, "Santa Claus, Post Office." I didn't like the blank space above the address, so I went in with the last of the postage marks and stamped this in the blank space. And finally, to add a little bit of extra interest and to fill the postcard, I went in with a cute snowflake and stamped this 3 times under the large postmark. For the next stage in the process, I needed to be sure that my ink was completely dry, so I quickly went over it with my heat tool. Now it was time for the special touch. I took my Versamark ink pad and went over the surface of the postcard really lightly, covering all areas. This can be done with any watermark ink pad. Then, using my Wow Halo embossing powder, I completely covered the surface of the postcard and removed any excess back into the pot. At this stage it does look like a bit of a mess, but bear with it and you will see the magic happen when you start heat setting it. When you're heat setting it, just gently go over the embossing powder until you see it all change. In this instance, when it stopped sparkling, I knew that it was all set. It's really hard to see the full effect in this video of the sparkle, so for the full effect, head over to my Instagram, which is Danny_Doodles_. Now I wanted to turn the postcard into a card, so I took a C6 greeting card, pre-scored, and went over it with my bone folder just to sharpen the edge. I added some black twine, which is about 1 millimetre thick, around the bottom of the card and tied it into a bow. This was quite hard to get into the position that I wanted it to, but eventually I was happy and I tied my bow on the right hand side of the card so that it was sticking out from underneath the postcard when the postcard was adhered to the card later on in the process. I had some problems with the bow sitting straight and sitting how I wanted it to, but it took several attempts, and after I was happy I went in and cut this down. It was finally time to stick the postcard down to the card. Be prepared for the huge roll of foam tape coming into shot. now. This foam tape is approximately 5mm to 6mm by 2mm, and I got this when Sticks 2 were having a huge sale. I did apply a generous amount of foam tape to the back of the postcard, as I needed this to be rigid, seeing that it was such a large piece going onto the card. I then went ahead and stuck this down to the card blank at an angle so that the bow was sticking out of the bottom of the postcard as intended, and after a bit of rearranging, the card was finally done. I hope you liked this video. Details listed below for all the products I used from Creative Expressions and where to buy them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself. Bye.